So I was looking through my YouTube hard drive looking for like things that I could delete because, you know, I've been doing this for a little bit and I'm running out of room. I have a folder called basic assets, which is, you know, just things that I reuse like my intro so I don't have to remake them every time I make a video. And in that folder, I found this picture. I don't think I've ever used it in a video before. I have no idea why it's here. Hello. This is going to be a much less structured, just more rambly video, because I just picked up Yae Miko from the Chronicle banner. She was my most desired unit at this point in the game, and I don't have the experience to really go in depth about her, but I still want to talk about her. I think her kit design is just incredible, and I'm really excited to use her in a ton of different teams going into the future. But first, I want to start off with just a few little thoughts, little details and things that I have picked up in this short time playing her. And first off, Yae Miko is not fischl. These are two very different character designs. They both have the same basic design of skill that does electro damage off field, but they fit into teams in very different ways. And if you play Yae like she's fischl, she is just gonna be a worse fischl. Fischl is defined by her short field time requirements. All she does, swap in, press E, swap out. And then Oz does all the crazy things that he does. Even her burst animation can be swapped out of. In comparison, Yae has to do 3 fairly longer animations to get her skill up. Oh, poor girl. Sorry, Gendo, I didn't mean it. In return, the basic attack of Yae Miko's skill is stronger than Oz's, although fischl does have her A4 passive, which is very notable in aggravate teams, and the coordinated attacks from her C6. And if you put her in a team that makes full use of both of those things, then fischl's off-field damage will be higher than Yae's. But note that I said off-field damage. Yae, unlike fischl, can have a pretty strong on-field presence. Notably, she's a catalyst unit, so while her normal attacks don't have the best scaling, they do scale off the same stats that all the rest of her kit does, so they can represent a meaningful portion of her damage. And then there's her burst, which isn't a traditional on-field ability. It's just a few big electro hits after you cast it. You don't need to stay on field for it to have effect, but the way it interacts with her skill is what makes it require some actual field time. For each totem that she has up, it gets 1 extra instance of damage that's actually larger than the initial hit, and it consumes all of your totems to do so, requiring you to set up after you've used it. Let's grab a boss so we can get some energy. Let's just get horror on in here. Sorry, fischl. I'm gonna bring you back in a second, but I'll kick you out for now. You have to have all your skills out before you use it, and then after it's been cast, you have to put them all back up. And with that infamously long burst animation, it can take a bit of time. And this segues me perfectly into my next point. The infamous combo of E, 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 Q, E, E, E. Oh, okay. No, I got them all off. That is how most people advise that you play her. And I think that that's wrong. Maybe it's better for DPS. I don't really care that much because it feels bad. And a lot of people are pushed away from Yae because of how long that takes. To take up all that field time and be a slightly better version of fischl in some teams is just not worth it to a lot of people. Here's what I do instead. In my rotations, I just start by doing the E's, and then I do 1 full rotation, and then at the end of that rotation is when I use my first Q, and then set up my E's again. It makes her setup a lot less clunky, and personally I feel it makes her gameplay loop feel way better. And this rotation feels so much better to play, I don't even care if it's worse. So now that I'm done with that little tangent, I'm not totally delusional. I do see the fundamental similarities between Yae and fischl, but they're both better than one another in different scenarios. At a baseline, Yae's off-field damage is better, but she has no way to increase it. All of her extra damage has to happen on field. If you put her in a team where she can get that field time, she'll do better than fischl. Fischl has a little bit worse off-field damage and slightly lower uptime as well, but she has multiple ways of increasing her off-field damage. If you put her in a team where you can trigger a lot of A4 passives and a lot of coordinated attacks, then she'll do better than Yae's off-field damage. But if you've ever heard me talk about fischl compared to anybody else, you probably know what's coming. You can compare them to hell and back, but at the end of the day, just play them together. They benefit from each other a lot. They both scale off the same things, they do a lot of the same things, and they're strong in similar contexts. Just like Oron and Fischl, use them both. Before I look at the teams, I'm just gonna do a little gear check as usual. Just got her to level 90 today, so I'll be seeing some new high numbers out of her. Weapon is Widsith. It's Widsith. This thing is insane. I don't think I really need to explain why. The EM is easily the worst buff that she can get out of it, but she's often played in a lot of reaction-oriented teams and can end up triggering a fair amount of reactions. And of course, she has her A4 passive, which just gives her skill straight up damage percent for EM. So Widsith is RNG hell as always, and it doesn't activate on every rotation, but at least every buff is good for her. Talents could be better. I'm looking to go for 8, 10, 8. Just keep in mind when you're looking at the damage, she's not done being built. She can do a little bit more than this. And for artifacts, I just threw a two-piece set on her. Considering how split her damage profile is between all of her talents, there's not really any one set that works great for her, and since you can pick and choose better artifacts when using a two-piece spread, they often pull ahead. Attack percent is your best bet, although if you have some good Thundering Fury pieces, getting two-piece electro damage bonus is also very good. You see I'm running gilded two-piece EM. EM isn't the best stat for her, but because of the damage bonus and because she's triggering reactions, it's pretty usable. It only really pulls ahead of attack percent in aggravate teams. And it's good enough that it's actually the best option on my account. Disclaimer, I'm not really an Akasha person. I don't check the leaderboards too often. But my Yae build was good enough that I got curious. I have a top 4% Yae, and the leaderboard that it's top on is actually a team that incentivizes Golden Troop because it uses a mostly off-field Yae, and even with this two-piece, I got into the top 4%. And to clarify, Akasha does not directly tell you how strong your builds are, because there are so many variables like ER. The thing I always point out, okay, well, this got busted up. This isn't actually how my Emily's supposed to look, but usually my Emily is around a top 30% because there are no ER divisions within the Emily leaderboard. Emily is a character that you can get significant value out of when building ER, yes, even with her signature. So the fact that Akasha doesn't have this is kind of ridiculous. Getting to number 1 isn't a matter of how good your build is, it's a matter of how willing you are to sit in one domain and farm one set for months on end. And that set, with all its fancy crit stats, can end up being functionally worse than other people's builds who spent a lot less time in those domains. I don't know if I got this across clear enough, but like, an Emily that gives up a little bit of her crit to build some ER and burst every rotation will clear faster than an Emily who has no ER and has insane crit stats and is number 1 in Akasha. Okay, bye. Anyways, mini Akasha rant over. Two-piece is really good on Yae Miko. You can often get two-piece options while farming for other characters, so she can be pretty efficient. This is a video about Yae teams, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. This is the team that I was using in some of the burst testing. It's not really a team that I was looking forward to using, or even one that's particularly great for Yae. To be honest, I kind of was just using it for friendship. It's fun enough. It's not really a particular strength of Yae's. I'd like to start off with honestly what I've been having the most fun with so far. Yae Tighnari teams using Eon-san. This has been a lot of fun. It's real quick swappy. Eon-san can benefit both Yae and Tighnari with the scroll set, and both of their skills do move them a notable amount, which ends up keeping Eon-san's Night Soul pretty high. Let me get my robot. Let me one-rotate my robot. I don't think it's a secret how good Yae is with Dendro and Tighnari in particular. They both have shorter field times and big bursty sources of damage. Tighnari lets Yae get aggravates, and Yae lets Tighnari get spreads. And I honestly think Eon-san is kind of the glue that ties it all together. Because before, like, what would you even play in this slot? Trying to use an Animo unit to get an Electro Swirl while Nahida in the team probably is just not going to happen. As for your Dendro options, Baizhu could be a decent defensive unit. These guys are pretty squishy and can appreciate his healing and shielding. And he does have a very minor buff. Is it this one? What? What happened to Baiju's talent? Tell me this loaded correctly. Okay, it's back. And it's not level 9 anymore. But it's this talent. He does technically possess a buff. It increases Dendro reaction damage. It's fine. It's kind of just there to justify his existence. You could also use him on Deepwood and then have Nahida on Gilded Dreams, or even like Golden Troop I think is better now. I'd have to do math, and I'm not doing math. Fischl is functional because, you know, she's Fischl, she's good everywhere. If Lisa didn't have the ER needs that she had, maybe you could use her as a burst support. In any case, Eon-san just feels great. Provides the buff from Scroll to the whole team, and buffs your on-fielder, who they both are doing reactions, but they're both attack scaling units. I just can't undersell how good this team feels. I knew I always wanted to use this team, but it feels even better than I ever thought it would.
Emerge, right here, emerge. One with the force, I hear everything. Nothing lasts forever. Right now, right here, right now. Sharing my knowledge. Controlled breathing.
Next up, all you gotta do, trade out Tighnari and Nahida for Chevy and Xiangling. Xiangling can be swapped out for Malwika, Pyro Traveler, really any off-field Pyro, she's just there to trigger overloads. And Eon-san could be swapped out for Bennett, but I like using Eon-san with Yae. The only real justification I have for that statement is that I think Circle Impact feels kinda bad with Yae. But yeah, whatever, it's overload, you get the point. Now there is actually a unit that I would prefer to use in this slot, and that is Dea, but my Dea is C0. Now don't get me wrong, I love my Dea, I use her a lot, but C0 Dea and Dea with Constellations, they're very different things. She becomes an actual compelling damage dealer with her constellations. So if you have a few, then you can do this kind of cool, quick swappy, dual DPS type of thing. So this is the team I would like to play, but I can't. Because at C0, Dea's damage is just not compelling enough to make a good team. So we're sticking to Xiangling. And I'm actually gonna play it against this guy, because he has some health. Or I could just do it in the second half of Abyss. But then I have to keep clearing the first floor of Abyss, and that's annoying. This version with Xiangling, or any other dedicated off-fielder, like PMC, or even Malwika if you decide to play her as an off-fielder, it plays more like a dedicated on-field Yae team, but I still find that her flexibility really shines here. I end up doing some alternate rotation things so I can get enough energy to Xiangling, and Yae says, cool, that's fine, don't care. I can swap on field whenever you want, and while I'm off field, I'm going to continue dealing solid damage. And it also shows how capable of an on-fielder she can be when she receives the proper support. She's not doing carry levels of damage, but for a character who can keep up pressure while off field, she can gain a respectable amount from being on field as well. I'm just waiting to see what big numbers I get with when I crown her skill, and when I get her burst a little bit higher. Ooh, and look at that. 80,000 out of her burst. Kill her. Her? Him. Rock. Rock no have gender. Why did I say that? Actually, you know what? No, I've decided. Lava Dragon statue is a girl. Hating on her is misogyny. Boom. Well, now I want to do it against the Abyss. Do I do DPS Aoife side 1? I think I do DPS Aoife side 1. I don't know how I ever think any video is going to be short and easy. I am me. I always have to find some way to be stupid. This presents an issue. This presents an issue. I'm going to be overcapped by so much. Oh! 10% isn't the worst. Do I even have anything else I would want to use? No, I do not. Seems like I need a second Widsith leveled. These are truly the end times. And then we scroll it up on Farazan. Oh wait, yeah, I can actually use skill damage with Yae. Oh, you know, fine. I didn't even want energy. Why isn't that guy dying? This is real bad to start off. Bennett, what happened to your energy? You're ruining everything. Got him stun locked. This is perfect. If this happened a little earlier, I would have been able to clear a little faster. Alright, I cleared a little slow. So if I missed the 3-star, it's Aoife's fault. Not my fault. I am in no way related to the situation at hand.
Hands where I can see 'em. Quick as a flash. Emerge right now. Sight to behold. Right here. Emerge right here. Stronger. Right now. Emerge right now. Nothing lasts forever. Koopa, get them!
Wait until the bar gets back up. Yeah. I think I'm only barely gonna miss the clear.
Quick as a flash. You're toast. Nice and spiked.
But hey, wrong swap.
Right here. Emerge.
I don't know where my Yansan buff went. Just pretend I rotated better than I did.
Stronger. Right now. Emerge.
Actually, wait. Here's the thing.
Sight to behold. Right here.
Oh no. I think I am gonna like barely miss it. I think he's gonna get back up in a second. Yeah, he is.
Hands where I can see 'em. Drop your weapons.
Okay, whatever. I was 15 seconds off. We'll call that good. I could try harder to get a better clear first chamber and optimize a little bit second chamber, but I'm already far enough off track, so I am not gonna do that. I could also level my Yae's talents and probably clear within time. Let's just take a look at another team here. This one I actually haven't played yet, so we will see how good it is together. We've got Mono Electro, 3 big ladies. I shouldn't be saying big ladies, that sounds fucking awful. 3 vertically advantaged women with 3 big bursts. And I get 3 big booms. I don't even have the rotation in mind yet, but I have recently gotten the itch to play Sara more. So we're playing Sara more. I didn't like...
Inazuma shines eternal.
You dodged my hit. You dodged my big boom. I can use Raiden for off-field Electro. I'm being like dumb. Different level of stupid. And I think I actually go Raiden last in this team so she can regenerate energy for Sara and Miko. So I think my rotation...
Shine down. All right. Flash. Right here. Emerge. I'm always
And I do... this feels bad.
right now. Emerge. Storm the front. Illusion shattered. Now you shall perish.
That was so bad. That was so freaking bad. That could be better. And now my girls need some energy. Well, sorry. This right here. This is a Wavebreaker's Fin team if ever there was one. So I've been just trying to focus on figuring out how to play it first. But the idea here was to use Sara's ability to buff 3 units to, you know, actually buff 3 units.
Strike.
I use 1 buff on Yae. I use the second on Sara herself.
Inazuma shines eternal.
And then the third from her burst on Raiden. And then, ooh, maybe I could finish off with Yae here.
All right.
If I can get my buffs. If I can get my buffs lined up enough. Maybe I could do that instead. Then her burst wouldn't be getting the Sara buff. Sara's short duration on her buff does kind of suck and hurt in situations like this. I feel like 10 seconds is asking for a lot, but even like 8 seconds would be fun. Now that I've actually killed a boss with it, I do like the dynamic.
Emerge. Right here. Emerge.
I'm just gonna do it.
Sight to behold. Right here. Right now.
That feels so bad. And now I've lost my res shred is the thing. As long as I can get it for the first hit of Raiden's burst, then I don't really care that much. This is feeling like better and better as I get better with it. Who would have known? Teams feel better once you learn how to play them. Oh, but now Raiden doesn't have any energy. I shouldn't have to battery Raiden Shogun, right? Has anyone in the history of ever batteried Raiden Shogun? Big buff. Yay. Stop trying to hit the fruits. Alright, so let me try a normal rotation now that she has the energy.
There is no escape. All right. Nothing lasts forever, right? Dear
Oh. Okay, well, I did the big burst, which is what counts. Oh god, yeah, get up. Get up. Nobody likes a sloppy drunk. I'm also trying to think of like a rotation where, because my rotation right now, start off, apply Electro with Raiden, do Shilonen, get her stuff, then Sara, first skill, swap to Yae so she catches that buff, do some Yae things, swap back to Sara, and then use the charge shot to then buff herself, so her burst gets a big hit, and then use her burst to buff Raiden. How long does this last? It doesn't tell me. For 18 seconds she gets that charge shot. Okay, that's a long time. So realistically, this is just making everything harder and slower and worse. But what I could do is like have Shilonen shred res once. You know what, I'll just do it against the boss to show it off. So it makes some sort of sense. My idea is to have 2 points where Shilonen comes in and shreds res. So you ensure full buff up time. This might end up being like a less set rotation, more fluid quick swappy team if I actually learn how to play it more. But I am already enjoying it even more than I initially thought.
Quiver! Right here, right now. Glory to the Shogun! Now
I didn't do it. I forgot to do it. I'm not getting that much downtime on Shilonen's res shred anyways. It's only really if I use Yae burst. Also, if this guy can stop doing his stupid spin move, kill him. Actually, just level 2. I'm not gonna give you the dignity of a level 3 skill. Yeah, you stupid hamster. I don't know, it's funky. It doesn't really do enough damage to warrant how complicated it can be, but I am having fun with this.
Strike! Right here. I'm always watching. Right now, right here. Emerge. Glory to the Shogun! Inazuma shines eternal!
Dead! I'm getting real lucky with my crits. I only have a 72% crit rate on Raiden. It's very messy, and I could do a lot of both gameplay and build refining. But I do like the idea of this team. The one thing I think I really don't like about it... Oh god. I messed up Yae's skill. It's fine, I'll kill with Raiden. The only thing I really don't like about it is how Kujosara's short buff duration sort of forces you into that lame feel bad combo of EEQ, EEE on Yae, because there's not really a good situation where Sara can buff her and then she can swap in and do her burst with all 3 totems up. But I'm sure there's some weird rotation I could probably figure out if I messed around with this long enough. This might be one I keep coming back to. I think this is gonna be my last one. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's Plunge Yae Miko. And guess what? Shanyun is actually gonna use VV for the first time in probably months on my account. This goes a little bit back to what I was saying at the start, how her normal attack multipliers aren't great, but you're building for them anyways by building for what's going on in the rest of her kit, so they won't do bad damage if you choose to on-field her. Putting Shanyun in the team just gives her access to her highest multiplier. And of course, plunging doesn't interfere with her skill at all, it just gets to benefit from all the buffs she's getting and continue doing its thing. And I like Auroron here instead of Ion-san, because Auroron funny. You see that dodge? You see that dodge? Tell me you saw that dodge. Crazy, jumped over his freaking head. #1 Shanyun player of all time. So yeah, there it is. This was supposed to be a short and easy video. Why must I be insane? I still am just kind of getting used to Yae at this point. I haven't figured out everything about her or everything I want to do with her, and any input in the comments is more than welcome. If you have cool Yae teams that you like, if you have interesting tech, I urge you, please share them. I need to know things. I must know things. But Yae has quickly become one of my favorite characters. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope you enjoyed, and have a lovely day.